Hey, 2005 Subaru Legacy, and I'm changing out the driver's side valve cover gasket. Now, the passenger side, people are like, it's harder, it's easier, it's harder, it's easier. And my question was, do I have to lift the engine? And so I showed you in the other video how to take all this stuff off and be careful with this because I actually broke that. And we got in there and basically changed it, and all the oil stopped from that side. But I have a suspicious feeling we have oil from this side. So this side is much easier. As you can tell, I already took it off. I just took the battery out. I didn't take this out. Just moved everything around and just took out the bolts that were there. It's pretty easy. I've seen people take off the timing belt cover. I don't know. I've seen all kinds of stuff. People taking stuff out, and it's like, no, it's not that hard. In fact, the only three things I used were these three: a low-profile socket wrench with a 10 and an 8mm to take out the spark plugs and everything else. And if you want to see the other video, I'll show you that. But I'm just showing you. Cannot do this job without this, because to get around the cover on the other side, definitely need this. Those are the two things that actually you just need this, but you know, it's nice to have those. And then of course I use this one. It's nice to have this too. That way you can just get in there and take it out faster. So really not a lot of tools that you need, and it popped out. But here's the problem. There is less room on this side to work with, and in fact I see oil right there on top of that that frame. That's probably where it was leaking. And the last bolt, which was way in that back corner, when I tried to pull it out, it hit the frame. It would not come up. So basically I had to take it out. And so needless to say, you'll be able to take it out. I don't think you'll be able to put it in, because that bolt will just not let you put it in. I had to really fish it out. So I'm going to say that on the driver's side, you have to lift the engine up, you know, from the bottom. And in order to do that, we're going to have to take the dog bone out, which is underneath here. And then we're going to have to loosen one motor mount. And then lift the engine up just a little bit so we can put our valve cover back in. So we'll begin that today. All right. I took out this bolt. I loosened this, and then took this out. Okay, and then on the other side it's just two bolts, and that should pop right out. These two came from here. So taking those things out and loosening this, you see how it's all just comes right out. Okay, and that gives us access to the dog bone there, and that's what we're gonna have to remove. There it is. That's a better picture. We're gonna have to remove that so we can lift the motor up just a tad. Okay, so I know when I first bought this car that was missing. So I don't know if you can see. So basically I had to put in the bolt, and so that's why the strange nut there. But anyway, that dog bone there, that dog bone, remove it from this side, and that'll give it some play. Still need, so this will actually not hold the motor down. So I'll keep removing that. Okay, I'm on this is the passenger size motor mount. So here's this one, and then if I go over here, there it is. That's the driver's side. And so what I'm gonna do is, oh, that's the connector, and so then there, that's it. So we're gonna remove this bolt. This is the driver's side. I'll show you the same thing on this side because the camera angle. This is the passenger side. So if you remove this, that'll let it go up. And then you don't have to remove this. Is attaching it to the actual motor. So this is the mount. So we're gonna remove this, but not this one. Only, and like you see all the oil. Only that one. Okay, and now it's not even that one. Let's get this straight here. It's that one, and you can see because that's the mount right there. See, this is the other part that's holding it in. Here's the mount. The engine is sitting on it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my jack, and I see a lot of people putting it here on top of the oil pan, which just drives me nuts. That just sounds like you're gonna have to change the oil pan gasket next. I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna lift with a piece of wood with my jack, and I'm gonna lift this about an inch, not much, but about an inch. And that'll translate to opening up over there. So I'm gonna put everything on stands, bring the jack in here, and just push this up from there. Okay, and then we'll go back to the top and take a look, and then get the gasket on the actual valve cover. Probably do that next after I lift this, and then we'll come back and put it all back, and then we'll go there. All right, I used the Q-tips, cleaned everything off, and now I used the sealant, and I put a little bit on the inside all the way around. Just a little bit before I get the actual gasket in there. And so I'm gonna put these as well. But so I just put a little bit in, just to get it to sit in there. Okay, so I finished putting the gasket maker. Now, I've looked at a lot of instructions. They always say put it here, 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 and there, and you know, just a little bit. And I'm like, I'll just go ahead and put it everywhere because I can't remember where to put it. And then, of course, this is facing up, so you definitely want to make sure you put it on the bottom, because that if it's gonna leak, it's gonna leak from the bottom. And then, of course, torque it to the right torque. Do not over torque this, because this is just made to fit nice and snug. And I'll show you about the torque in a little bit. Alrighty. All right. In my other video, I told you how we had to put this in at 180 degrees and then turn it and all that stuff because it was so tight. But now that we lifted the engine up, I'm going to try to do it with one hand because there's plenty of room. And of course, you do not want to get anything stuck. Let me adjust the camera so that... Okay. Alright, now... That's it right there. So, I'm going to start putting the screws in and just hand tightening and pressing so that seal can start sitting down. But look how much room we have. Just by lifting that motor, I was not able to hold the camera last time, but this time, because we have all this room, I'm able to press it in. All right, let me start hand tightening some bolts, and then we'll torque them down. And the trick to the torque is that I can only torque like the ones that I can put the ratchet in, but then I feel it, and then you're gonna have to eyeball the other ones you can't get to. So it's a touchy-feely thing. But again, this is just a gasket, so it really is not made to be on there real tight. So you'll see that. All right, there it is. Okay, I got them all nice and snug, and it's time to torque. This is my torque wrench. 4.7 foot-pounds is what you need, but of course that one's too big, so I'm using inch-pounds. I looked on the internet to convert 56.4 inch-pounds, and then you know, carefully gonna put this in. But you start basically, this is A, and this is the diagram, and I have that in my other video, and I'll put that in how to do this. You want to start with this one, A, and then you want to go across to this one, B, then you want to go up C, D, and then across E, F, and then G, H. and then back again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Let me put the camera back. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So basically, you're always crisscrossing. As long as you're crisscrossing, that's the important part. A, B, C, and then just go up and down and crisscross them until it all sits down very nicely. And remember, this torque wrench, I'm only going to get able to get this one, possibly that one. Definitely not the bottom. So I'm going to have to feel those, and then I'll have to adjust with this one. And remember, you're going to need, of all the ones you need, you're going to need this one to get to that magic bolt all the way on the other side. All right, I'm going to tighten it up, and then that's the hard part. I don't think I have to do. I might just stop the video here for sure, because the rest is just putting it back in, and that's not the hard part. You know, and putting the dog bone back and lowering the engine. That was the hard part. I think I will end the video. And again, if you want to see my other video, where I do the passenger side, which was way more involved. So I'm going to have to say which one's easier. I have to say the driver's side is easier. And especially if you lift the engine. Alright, that's it for this video. I lied. Wanted to give you this other little tip. I can get this torque wrench into all of them except that last corner. And, well, I didn't really try. But anyway, just to let you know, I'm going to try to get this one in. And it's hard to... Okay, there. Alright. It's hard to do this one hand on the phone. But, I'm going to show you something. Okay. And I didn't clean that one out very well. Okay, let's use... Okay, let's use this one. Alright. There. What's going on? Alright. You see it? Now watch. That is not even very hard. But that's it. That the torque is giving away. So in other words, it is just right when it gets a little bit tight, it stops. So it is not. Please do not torque these guys down. It's basically just you go until it just gets hard, and that's it. You're done. All right, so that's my last video, and I'm saying you can get this wrench here. You can even get it at the bottom here, and even this one here, and even that one I can get in there. It's a little snug, but I put it in and right there. The only one I can't do is this last one down here. And so anyway, that's where this tool comes in handy. Like I said, just turn it until it gets hard, and that's it. And that's it. You're done. Okay, that's the last little tip. I hope that helps. And time to put this together and then let it sit for a couple hours. I always let it sit overnight, and then it'll be ready to go. And hopefully we stop getting that smell. Okay, I lied again. As I'm putting everything back together again, you know, putting the spark plugs in and getting these guys back on. I noticed that I put the dog bone in, and I put that on, and I was like, okay, good, all right. And then I realized, hey, the engine's still lifted. Yet, I was able to put this in. So technically, you don't have to take that out. There is plenty of play to put that in there. And so, if you don't want to take all this out, you just want to take the motor mount out and just lift the engine a little bit, I guess you can do that. So, thought that was important for you to know, as I'm almost finished putting it all back together again. So, just a little tip. If you don't want to remove this and remove the dog bone, it seems like there's plenty of play for this to come up. So, okay, that's the last little tip.